Boys probably mature past that point, although I know many of them do not. Hi everyone, my name is Abby and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to have a video all about all-girls school, which I think is sort of a mysterious topic for some people because, well, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit different, and sometimes I forget that it is that way. So today I'm hoping that I can enlighten anybody who is possibly going to an all-girls school. Maybe you're just curious about it. Maybe you're a guy and you think, well, what could possibly go on there? Regardless, I hope that you enjoyed the video and you learned some new things about all-girls school. And just as a little background, I did go to an all-girls Catholic high school, so for 4 years, 9th through 12th grade, and I had a great time. Honestly, very few to no complaints. So I'd love to share my experience, and please, if you went to an all-girls school or you know anything or have any questions, feel free to comment those down below. So this first little area that I wanted to talk about is appearance. I think that this is an area that's pretty noticeably different from co-ed high school because I've heard stories of girls waking up at 5 a.m. to get their whole look on, and I don't really think that that's a thing that happens very much, at least at the all-girls Catholic school that I went to. But I would say most of the time, girls like to wear their hair up in like a messy ponytail or a bun. So I thought, you know, bow chicka wow wow, I demonstrate for you. The looser the better. So it's like pretty much falling out. All of my bangs are out and it's sort of like down here, or maybe it's over here. That's exhibit A. Exhibit B is gather it up on the top, put it through one time, and then the second time you make a little loop. I've definitely seen girls wearing their hair this way too. So these are your classic all-girls high school hairstyles. Oh, sorry. Another all-girls high school classic trait, at least in my experience, is the abundance of socks and sandals, particularly Birkenstocks and socks. I like to call them Birkensocks. I will be trademarking that soon, please don't go and try to take that. It's a very hot and spicy sort of look, you know, just woo. She's walking by with those pizza socks and the toe Birkenstocks. That's even better when you have some socks and you have a toe Birkenstock, so you get to see that nice little toe sock outline. Some girls do come with a full face of makeup, or they do their hair or something like that, and I would say that that's totally acceptable as well. It's definitely not as common overall, especially when it comes to makeup. If you're doing something really creative, in my experience, people really liked that and they reacted really well to that. So it was pretty accepting all around. The next thing that I wanted to address is the amount of drama in an all-girls school. So I think a lot of people think that all-girls schools are really catty. At least that's something that I heard a lot when I was there. But I think people need to realize that boys are a source of a lot of drama. So, I mean, I haven't really experienced a lot of drama surrounding boys in my life. That certainly tells you a lot about my love life. Some of my friends still did have boy drama. I mean, it's obviously like you're not completely isolated from boys. You can still see them and everything. But it was definitely lessened and there wasn't as much of a focus on that. But I would say there definitely still is drama. At least in my experience, girls like to talk a lot. So you still get people gossiping about what's going on in school and, you know, friendships and whatever, but it's just not quite as bad as people think, and the focus kind of shifts, I think, from what people are used to. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is interactions with boys, because I think that that's also a concern for a lot of people who are considering going to an all-girls school. So I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit difficult to interact with boys. I think that if you're the kind of person who will just go and seek out those friendships and relationships, then that's great. But if you're someone like me and, you know, you get, I mean, I'm a little bit better now, probably not a lot better, but, you know, boys sometimes make me nervous. It's probably sad, I'm 19 years old, but it's just the truth. When I was in high school, boys especially made me nervous, so I didn't really form a lot of friendships with guys outside of theater, but, you know, it's a little bit different in the theater. Theater is its own kind of thing. I think that there definitely is the opportunity to go and find friendships with boys, but you have to seek it out. You know, we would have football games and stuff, and you could go and talk to boys there. That's a really easy thing. Or there were clubs that were between our high school and the all-boys high school, although they always said that we weren't affiliated with them, but like, we were, I mean, not officially, but it was always kind of an implied thing. I will say though that a lot of times dances are kind of really awkward, because we would have dances for our high school and then for the all boys high school. And at least for us, you could have boys come from any high school as long as they were a high school student, you know, not like a 38-year-old man who just pulls up in like a flamingo suit. I think more than public schools and co-ed schools, you'll have some awkward boy-girl. I think that that's a freshman thing at a lot of high schools, but sometimes it persists past that. Again, I have never been to a public school dance, so like, I don't super know what that's like. There's a lot of awkwardness because people, if they're not forced to interact or strongly encouraged to interact, sometimes that doesn't happen. But you know, you get over it, and obviously there are some people who are completely comfortable and have a great time. But you know, watch out for that. It is a little weird. I also wanted to say, I really hope that this is a really old stereotype and that people don't really think this anymore, because it just feels completely antiquated to me and sort of ridiculous. But like, clearly not everybody is a lesbian in all-girls school. Of course, there are people who are gay because, you know, it's just the world. That's the way things are. And there are people who are not. Nobody's turning anybody into a lesbian. I don't really think that that's something that happens. I also think that all-girls education really empowers young women to just be confident and be sure that they can do whatever they want to do, because I think a lot of times boys can be kind of distracting. I know, at least in my experience, like when I was in middle school, I mean, boys probably mature past that point, although I know many of them do not. Boys would often be really loud and sort of trying to attract attention. I would often kind of feel drowned out by that, in like, these distractions were getting in the way of my learning. And so when I went to an all-girls school, I really think that I was able to speak up, to be more confident, to be able to say what I wanted to say, and to feel like I could say it without people judging me or without people trying to interrupt me. I think that that was something that was really beautiful and helpful as I went into college, for me to know that my opinions are valid and that I should share them if I want to. There was definitely this tone of like girl power and women can do anything, and I think that that's something that's really important, because it was something that kind of became ingrained in my mind. So I haven't really seen the world any other way, and I know obviously as I go forward in the professional world, I will most likely encounter difficulties due to being a woman, but still, I think to have that mindset that you can persevere through anything is really important, and that I think is going to help me throughout the rest of my life. So as far as sports, I think that this is another one that people commonly get confused about or don't really have any information about. We would go to football games for the all-boys school, and then our dance team, we didn't really have cheerleaders, but the dance team would perform at the football games. So it was sort of like that kind of typical high school cheerleader thing, but just a little bit modified. But I think the really important thing is that the girls' sports got a lot more attention, because, you know, we had a really great basketball team. We had like a day off or a half of a day off to go and see the basketball game, and that was huge. People went and they supported, and it was really appreciated, because I think a lot of times there are a lot of really talented female athletes and they don't get as much recognition. I mean, you have what players are paid in the NBA and then the WNBA. I wanted to talk a little bit about having boys for musicals and plays, because I know when I've done theater or talked to people about theater who were outside of my little school theater community, they were always concerned about what we did for that. Like, did we just have girls play all the boys' roles? Well, no. We did have boys come in from the all-boys school, but then we also allowed any other guy in high school to come and audition. So that was nice. So I would say most of the time it was boys from the all-boys school, but we did have some boys from public high schools, other private high schools. Especially toward the end of my high school career, we had some really fantastic, talented guys, and a good amount of them too. So we were able to round out the productions that way. So now I wanted to move on to some things that my sister was talking about my sister Emma. I love her so much. She's a grade younger than me, so she just graduated high school, so things are especially fresh for her, and she had some other little suggestions for things that I should talk about for this video. So the first thing that she said is that there's a lot of random sitting and congregating in the hallways. And I totally agree with this, but I completely forgot about it, honestly, until she brought it up. But I think that a lot of times girls get really excited about what's going on. So at our school, girls would just like stop in the hallway and just like hug each other or like talk for a really long time. I don't know if that's a thing that you get at other schools, but it was definitely a thing for us. The next thing that Emma brought up is that girls are always really openly talking about periods, which I actually didn't see that much, but I mean, it sounds like something that would happen there. I'm not really surprised at all. But Emma said that she would see tampons randomly left in classrooms and girls just like talking really loudly about what was going on with their whole menstrual system and all of that.
Also, I can't believe I forgot to say this before, but there was always hair everywhere. Like seriously, you might sit on a chair and there would just be a whole wall of hair on the back of the chair. Disgusting, but true.
But what Emma said is that the girls loved to spill the tea to the male teachers. During lunch, you could go and sit in some teachers' classrooms. So she said in one of the male teachers' classrooms, there's always tea being spilled. All of the girls wanted to confide in the male teachers. The last thing that Emma talked to me about is how school spirit was really unabashed, and it was a really cool thing. I think sometimes guys can be a little bit less willing to, you know, make posters and like dress up for things. I mean, some guys are super into it. We were always really encouraged to have school spirit, and people would go like seriously all out. I mean, they would have for spirit weeks like crazy costumes and everything like that, and people would be really supportive when we had pep rallies or, like I said before, sports games. So I think that that was something that was really nice about just creating that culture of just being free and loving of the school that we were at. So the last thing that I wanted to bring up is that it really is like a sisterhood there. It's kind of like a sorority. I actually heard somebody say one time that she didn't want to join a sorority in college because she already had 4 years of one at our high school. And I think that that's really true. It really does feel like that in a lot of ways, where you just have this group of girls that you can talk to openly. You're around them all the time. They really come to feel like sisters. I felt like after 4 years, I was kind of ready to go. I was ready to go and be educated with boys because it's just a normal part of life, but I loved my experience there and I'm very grateful for it, and I really wouldn't change anything about it. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions or comments about all girls school, please leave them in the comments so I can address them. I would love to tell you more. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video, because I will be posting a video every other day this summer, and I'm also trying to get on the long road to 1,000 subscribers, so I would really appreciate all the support that you have. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you very soon. Bye!